I gotta ask you to please go buy one oregano plant. Put it in a garden, you put it in a raised bed, you put it in a pot, water it, not too much, like once a week. Plant it in a pot that has compost and soil, topsoil. And if you take care of it, I have to show you that this one little plant will give you a lifetime supply of oregano. So if you're still finding yourself buying those little things, little canisters of dried oregano, have you ever done that? I've done that. It's like $5 for organic oregano and it's this big. This is your sign. You shouldn't do that anymore. Oregano is the most beautiful thing. I gotta ask you to please go.
Let's have a little lesson on oregano because I'm working on mine right now. This is a perennial and a runner. So you can see where mine is starting to run out this way and this way. And I've already been pulling it back out of my time. This is a pile I've been harvesting. And all the ones with roots would be good to transplant or pot up and put somewhere else. This is in the mint family. There are a bunch of different kinds of oregano, but the two that you hear about most are Greek and Italian oregano. The Greek typically has a more robust smell and flavor, and the Italian is a little bit more on the mild side, but really good. My oregano here is a few years old now, so it is well established in the soil and I rarely water it. Basically, if this gets watered, it's because I'm watering something else near it. Water well and make sure the top 2 inches of soil are damp. Typically with herbs, you can harvest 1/3 of the plant and it will be fine. I sometimes harvest more than that, but it's only because I want to keep my oregano to this area and it's really like spreading everywhere. I need to get in here and weed also. I've already been pulling a lot of these runners, but you can see here is another one and they throw down these roots as they run. Look at this whole piece. Look at the roots on that one. They love full sun, but they will grow in part shade. Most herbs don't like wet feet, so don't overwater. Spring is a great time to plant herbs, but you can also plant them in the fall. Starting herbs from seed can be really hard, so I typically just get an already started plant. Or if you have a friend with a well-established herb, just ask them if you could take a little cutting that has some root on it. An amazing cooking herb, but also has a lot of medicinal benefits. Antibacterial, anti-inflammatory. Oregano oil has a ton of uses. Let's have a little...
You have my heart, we'll never be worlds apart. Maybe in magazines, but you still be my star, baby. 'Cause in the dark, you can't see shiny cars. That's when you need me there. With you, I'll always share. Because when the sun shines, we shine together.
Stop buying oregano and grow big oregano the size of my toddler. What you want to do is buy oregano, one oregano plant, plant it on the edge of your garden bed, prune it regularly, not too much water, and you will get lifetime supply of oregano. No more going to the grocery store.
At home. When I did this with basil, I shocked everyone by cutting off the plants and throwing away the pot with all the roots inside. That's because with basil, they pack like 20 little plants in one pot and it's impossible to untangle them, but this oregano plant wasn't nearly as crowded. I managed to divide it into 3 distinct plants. But here's the real hack. The tops of the plants can be propagated. In fact, this plant is super leggy and overgrown, so it needs a good trim anyway. I cut off the tops and then stripped the bottommost leaves, which is where new roots will grow. I put the tops in water so they can root. Do you hoard jars? Good, that behavior is encouraged on this page. I repotted the plants in their own pots and then put it all in my Mars Hydro indoor grow tent. Once the top cuttings root, each one will be its own plant, and there you have it, endless oregano. Happy growing! I don't know who needs...
Did you know Oregano is easy to grow and can be cultivated in home gardens or containers. It thrives in well-drained soil and prefers full sun, but can tolerate some shade. It prefers slightly dry conditions. Water deeply when the top and soil is dry, but avoid overwatering to prevent root rot. Did you know?
Here teaching you how to grow your own oregano seeds. All you gotta do is spread your seeds on some dirt, spritz it every day with some water, and watch your growth. Soon, even if it's in a small pot, you'll see little white flowers, and once they get very brown, you'll put them in between your fingers, very gently, very smoothly, and you'll remove your seeds. It may look very empty, like there are no seeds at all, but in fact, the seeds are very small, dark, and usually black like this. So if your seeds look like this, you know you've been a success.
Love you.
Holly here.
I know a lot of people are starting a garden for the first time this year, and I just wanted to talk a little bit about oregano. I love oregano. I have a few different varieties growing, but there's something you need to know about it. If you let it flower and go to seed, it will pop up everywhere. And I mean everywhere. All of this, oregano. I planted it in a few different spots, but it is now in every single pathway. It pops up in almost every single bed, even in the containers. It will try to take over. And it is a hardy plant, so just be careful. If you don't want it everywhere, I would suggest cutting off the flowers when it blooms. I know
my oregano plant is trying to take over my entire garden bed, so I'm going to show you how I harvest it and dry it for use. This oregano grew all winter here in Zone 7B, so it is huge and needs a big haircut. I'm going to be harvesting and cutting back a good 2/3 of the plant just to kind of keep it under control, and it'll grow back even healthier over the summer. Wow, that is a lot of oregano. Here's what she's looking like now after her haircut, just a small tidy patch instead of a huge bush trying to take over. I like to use my handy dehydrator for this. It's really simple. You just lay out the branches on the trays and then dehydrate it 125 Fahrenheit until completely dry. If you don't have a dehydrator, you can just simply tie little bundles together and have them hang somewhere cool and dry until they are dried out. When they're finished, just make sure that they are completely dried out. I mean completely, and are very crumbly. If you don't let them dry completely, they will mold. And then go ahead and strip all the leaves off of the little twigs. And then you can use an herb grinder if you want to kind of grind them up a little bit, but I feel like that's kind of overkill sometimes, so I just use my fingers. And then just store in a jar or a spice shaker, whatever you want to use. Make sure to put a date on there, and then you have fresh dried herbs from the garden that you can use for cooking, oils, whatever you want. Thanks, garden.
Oregano means joy of the mountain in ancient Greek. Oregano is native to the Mediterranean region, all towards East Asia. It is estimated that there are over 40 different species and countless hybrids of oregano. The herb was virtually unknown in the Americas until soldiers from World War I brought it back from Italy. Oregano is a shrubby-like herb with multiple branched stems, growing either upright or in a creeping manner. The leaves are narrow and arrow-shaped with a soft, fuzzy texture. In the late summer, small white flowers bloom from the flower spikes. Oregano is said to have a balsamic flavor, a combination of mint, thyme, and rosemary. There are a number of reasons why you should use oregano as companion plants. Pest repelling, health benefits, they grow well with and add flavors to herbs, fruits, and flowers. The best reason is because they are extremely easy to grow. Oregano contains vitamins, minerals, and omega-3 fatty acids. Phytonutrients in oregano contain 4 times the antioxidant power compared to blueberries. 2 main compounds found in oregano are thymol and carvacrol, which are the natural chemicals that give oregano a specific flavor profile. They have strong antibacterial and antifungal properties.
This is how we propagate oregano. Find a stem 6 to 8 inches long that doesn't have any flowers yet and cut it off. Remove the leaves about 3 inches from the bottom of the stem. Fill up a glass with water, but make sure the leaves are not in the water. Place the glass on a windowsill, and in about 2 weeks you'll have roots that you can then plant it in some soil. This is how we propagate.
Hey guys, back in the garden, and this is something that if you live in a southern climate, you probably already grow, or you should be growing. This is Cuban oregano, also called broadleaf thyme. I use it as a seasoning, but it also has a lot of medicinal purposes. It can be used as a tea. It can help you with bronchitis or respiratory ailments, with colds, with coughs. You know, with COVID sort of having a comeback right now, this is one of the things that can really help you with the symptoms. So it's Cuban oregano. It grows from cuttings. All you really need is one leaf. If you put a leaf on the ground, it'll grow a new plant. So I'm gonna have cuttings available on the website if you guys want some. So check it out at permaculturelife.com. If you have any questions, just leave them in the comments, guys. See ya. Bye.
So my friend Rosemary Grows did this fun little video featuring this wonderful herb called Cuban oregano. It's also called Mexican mint, but fun little fact, it's actually not a mint or an oregano. It's not even in the same families as mint or oregano. I don't know why they call it that. But she's right. This stuff is super easy to grow. It'll grow outside. It'll grow in a pot. You can overwinter it in your house. It'll do well in like some shade. It'll do well in the sun. It'll actually get these fun little, let me see if I can find this. See how it's got like a little bit of pink edging going on? I don't know. Oh, there, that's a better view. A little pink edging. It does it if it gets a little bit more sun. It's also super easy to propagate. So you can just stick it in a little pot like this, or you can stick it in some water and it'll root in no time. It is edible. It is tasty. And what I actually use it for is if you take the leaf and you crunch it up a little bit and you rub it on you, it is the best. It is the best mosquito repellent. The mosquitoes will get like this close to you, but they won't land on you. They won't bite you. They don't like the way that it smells. I don't know why. It smells amazing, but the mosquitoes will not bite you. You just rub this stuff all over you. It's awesome. So if you've never tried Cuban oregano, see if you can get your hands on some, grow it. It kind of looks like a Swedish ivy, but it's more like a succulent type thing. Get your hands on it, eat it, dry it, smell it, grow it all over the place. Keep it warm. It was not frost resistant. Like mine does fine as long as it doesn't hit a frost or a freeze. If it's going to be that cold outside, it comes indoors. It will get very large very quick if it's well cared for. And then you have some great mosquito repellent. Give it a try.
Here's one herb that all you have to do is grow one of, and you'll have enough to grow forever. That herb is oregano. Spreads like a vine, grows year after year. You can separate it or grow it from seed. Here's one